The shuttle glided silently through the darkness of space. Zayla watched as her homeworld grew smaller behind them. The once magnificent royal palace now reduced to smoking ruins. Her people would be in chaos without her leadership. The Krovax attack had been perfectly timed. Samantha worked quickly at the controls, her fingers dancing across the alien technology with surprising skill. For a species the Zinthari had considered primitive, humans were remarkably adaptable. "Our nearest outpost is on Nilara 3, Zayla said, her voice still carrying the authority of a queen despite their dire circumstances. "We can regroup there and contact the fleet." Samantha nodded, but her expression remained serious. "Your Majesty, the Krovax rarely attack without a larger strategy." This was not random. The human continued to surprise Zayla, not only with her combat abilities but with her tactical understanding. How much had the Zinthari underestimated these creatures? "Why did your people send you?" Zayla asked. Suddenly, "Why you specifically?" Samantha kept her eyes on the navigation system. "Before I joined the diplomatic corps, I was military special forces. I specialized in xenobiology and adaptation tactics." "So you were a warrior." Zayla felt her respect growing, despite herself. Samantha smiled slightly. "I was a soldier, yes. But humans don't see war the same way Zinthari do. We fight when necessary, but we prefer cooperation." "Cooperation." Zayla almost laughed. The word seemed so weak, yet she had witnessed firsthand what this human could do. Perhaps there was strength in their strange ways. The shuttle sensors chimed, indicating they were approaching Nilara 3. The small mining outpost was hardly fit for royalty, but it would have to suffice. The Zinthari guards there would protect their queen until the Imperial fleet arrived, as they prepared to enter the planet's atmosphere. Samantha suddenly tensed. "Something doesn't feel right," she said, her eyes narrowing at the sensor readings. "What do you mean?" Zayla demanded, leaning forward to examine the display. "These energy signatures," she pointed to flickering dots on the screen. "They're not Zinthari. The outpost has been compromised." Zayla felt a cold dread wash over her. The Krovax had been more thorough than she imagined. If they had taken Nilara 3, they might have already infiltrated other Zinthari strongholds. "We need to change course immediately," Zayla ordered. Samantha was already adjusting their trajectory. "But where can we go?" she asked. "The Krovax will be hunting us, and we don't know which Zinthari territories are safe." Zayla hesitated, her four hands clenching and unclenching in frustration. There was one option, though. It pained her to consider it. "Take us to Earth," she said finally. Samantha looked up in surprise. "Earth? But your fleet has been trying to conquer my homeworld for years." "It is precisely why the Krovax would not expect us to go there," Zayla reasoned. "And your people have clearly developed defenses capable of repelling both Zinthari and potentially Krovax forces." The human studied her for a long moment, assessing the Queen's sincerity. "I can take us to Earth, but I need your word that you come in peace. This would be a diplomatic mission, not an invasion." Zayla bristled at being dictated terms, but circumstances had changed drastically. The Krovax were an ancient enemy, one the Zinthari had believed to be merely legend. If they had returned in force, the entire galaxy faced a threat greater than petty territorial disputes. "You have my word," Zayla said, her voice solemn. Samantha nodded and set the new coordinates. The small shuttle hummed as its engines recalibrated for the long journey to the Sol system. During the 3-day voyage, Zayla observed her human wife closely. Samantha spent hours communicating with Earth using encrypted channels that somehow evaded detection. She maintained the shuttle systems with ingenious improvisations when parts began to fail, and most surprisingly, she shared her food rations with Zayla without hesitation. Queen's understanding of humans was changing with each passing hour. These creatures were not the simple savages Zinthari intelligence had described. They possessed a resilience and adaptability that was almost unnerving as they approached the edge of the Sol system. Samantha received clearance codes from Earth Defense Command. "We will be met by an escort," she explained. "They need to verify our intentions." Zayla nodded, through the idea of being escorted like a common visitor rather than received. With the honor due, a queen rankled her pride. Pride, however, would not defeat the Krovaks. Two sleek vessels appeared alongside them. Their design was unlike the bulky warships the Zinthari fleet had encountered in previous skirmishes. These were elegant and clearly built for speed rather than brute force. "Welcome home, Ambassador Morgan." A voice crackled through the communication system. "We have a secure landing zone prepared. General Kathy Howard will meet you personally." Samantha acknowledged the message, then turned to Zyla. "Your appearance will cause quite a stir," she said with a slight smile. "Not many humans have seen a Zinthari up close without being in combat. Is this general a warrior leader?" Zyla asked. "Something like that," Samantha replied. "She oversees our Special Tactics and Response Division. She was also my commanding officer before I joined the diplomatic service." The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Zyla watched with grudging appreciation as the blue and green planet came into view. It was smaller than the Zinthari homeworld, less imposing yet somehow beautiful in its simplicity. They landed at a facility hidden within a mountain range. Guards surrounded the shuttle as the doors opened. Zyla stepped out standing. To her full height, her forearms relaxed but ready, her tail slightly raised behind her. She would show these humans the dignity of a Zinthari queen, even in seeking their help. A human female with short gray hair stepped forward. Her posture and expression reminded Zyla of her own military commanders, direct, experienced, unimpressed by ceremony. "General Howard," Samantha said with a formal nod. "The situation has changed dramatically. I present Queen Zyla of the Zinthari Dominion. She comes seeking alliance against the Krovaks." The general studied Zyla carefully. "The Krovaks have returned," she said. It was not a question. "They attacked the royal palace," Samantha confirmed. "Without warning. They would have taken the queen if not for intervention." General Howard nodded slowly. "So your combat suit worked as designed, better than expected." Samantha replied. Zyla looked between the two humans, suddenly understanding. She had been part of their plan all along. The diplomatic marriage had been a human strategy, not
merely acceptance of Zinthari demands. "You knew the Krovaks would return." Zyla said, her voice low. How the general gestured toward a large facility built into the mountainside. "Perhaps we'd better continue this conversation inside, Your Majesty. We have
much to discuss about our common enemy, and why Earth has been preparing for their arrival for the past 50 years. Zyla followed the humans inside, realizing that everything she thought she knew about Earth and its inhabitants had been wrong. The IQE, true war was just beginning. The mountain facility hummed with activity as Zyla followed General Howard and Samantha through a series of security checkpoints. The Queen had never seen such a blend of efficiency and caution. Each door required multiple verification methods, yet opened quickly enough not to slow their progress. Humans scurried about their tasks, many stopping to stare at the towering four-armed alien in their midst. Zyla kept her posture rigid, refusing to show any sign of discomfort, though being surrounded by a species she had previously sought to conquer was disconcerting. They entered a large chamber dominated by a circular table. Around it sat several humans in various uniforms and formal attire. Their conversations ceased as Zyla entered. "Queen Zyla of the Zinthari Dominion General," Howard announced. "This is the Earth Defense Council." A woman with dark skin and silver hair stood. "The name is symbolic," she said with a slight smile. "We represent not just Earth, but all human colonies." Her eyes studied Zyla with open curiosity. "I am Director Olivia Mason. Welcome to Earth." Zyla nodded regally. Though she found herself in the unprecedented position of seeking aid, she would not forget her status. "The Krovaks have returned," Director Mason continued, without preamble. "Just as our ancient texts predicted." "Ancient texts?" Zyla questioned. "You knew of these creatures before?" Samantha stepped forward, gesturing to the large display screen that dominated one wall. "Show her the Rosetta archive," she requested. The screen flickered to life, revealing images of stone tablets covered in strange markings alongside more modern-looking documents. 10,000 years ago, Director Mason explained human civilization was visited by a race calling themselves the Architects. They warned of a cyclical threat, the Krovax, who moved through the galaxy in waves of consumption. They provided us with knowledge of advanced technologies, but more importantly, they left us a timeline. The director tapped a command and the screen changed to show a complex star chart with pulsing red indicators moving across it in a distinct pattern. The Krovax consume everything in their path. She continued. Their cycle takes approximately 50,000 years to complete. The Architects believed that only through cooperation could the younger races survive. Zayla felt her neck crest rise in agitation. Why were the Zinthari never informed of this threat? Because your species was identified as a potential barrier to galactic cooperation, General Howard said bluntly. The Architects' records indicated that the Zinthari would either become crucial allies or dangerous impediments. Your conquering nature, your belief in domination rather than cooperation, Samantha added softly. They were concerned. Zayla hissed, her tail whipping behind her. So you manipulated me. The marriage was merely a ploy, not entirely. Samantha replied. I was sent to evaluate you to determine if you could change, if the Zinthari could evolve beyond conquest. The Architects believed your species had potential despite your aggressive tendencies. A human male with a trim beard spoke up. Our analysis suggests the Krovax targeted your palace specifically, Queen Zayla. They want to eliminate unifying forces. They did the same with 3 other dominant species in the Cygnus Arm Divide and consume another council member. Added. Zayla paced the length of the table, her mind racing. We must contact my fleet commanders immediately. Those who survive must be warned, Director. Mason nodded. A reasonable first step. But we need to discuss what comes after. The Krovax cannot be defeated through conventional warfare. Their numbers are too vast, their biological adaptability too advanced. Then what do you propose? Zayla demanded. A demonstration, General Howard said, rising from her seat. She gestured for Zayla to follow. We believe the Architects left us more than just warnings. They descended deeper into the mountain facility, passing through additional security measures. Each level revealed more advanced technology than Zayla had believed humans capable of producing. Much of it seemed to blend biological and mechanical elements in ways even Zinthari scientists had not achieved. This is Project Phoenix, General Howard announced as they entered an enormous chamber. At its center stood what appeared to be a spacecraft unlike any Zayla had seen before. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent material that seemed to shift and pulse like something alive. Surrounding it were dozens of humans, in specialized suits similar to the one Samantha had worn during the Krovax attack. The ship is alive, Samantha explained. It responds to human neural patterns. We discovered the technology in ruins beneath Earth's largest ocean. How long have you had this capability? Zayla asked, her voice barely above a whisper. We've been developing it for decades, General Howard replied, but it's still incomplete. The Architects left us the blueprints, but some components eluded us. She turned to face Zayla directly, specifically components that require materials found only in Zinthari territory. Now, Zayla understood the humans had been fighting defensively, not because they couldn't conquer, but because they were focused on a greater threat. They needed access to Zinthari worlds, not to subjugate them, but to complete their weapon against the Krovax, a strategic alliance. Director Mason said, rejoining them, the Zinthari provide resources and territorial knowledge. Humans provide adaptive technology and biological integration capabilities. Together, we might actually stand a chance. Zayla studied the ship, feeling the weight of the decision before her. Her ancestors had built the Dominion on principles of strength through conquest. Alliance had always been seen as weakness. Yet here stood a species physically weaker than her own that had created wonders the Zinthari had never imagined. Show me more, she said finally. Over the next several hours, Zayla was given a comprehensive tour of Earth defense capabilities. She witnessed humans training in their enhancement suits, moving with speed and precision that rivaled Zinthari warriors. She examined their adaptive shield technology, which could reconfigure to counter specific energy signatures. And most impressively, she observed their biological integration systems, which allowed humans to literally merge their consciousness with their machines. It's not just technology, Samantha explained as they watched a demonstration. It's our philosophy. Humans have always understood that we are not the strongest species. We survive by adapting, by finding ways to overcome our limitations. The Queen's understanding of humanity was transforming with each new revelation. These creatures had developed entirely different, evolutionary strategies than the Zinthari. They didn't seek to dominate through raw power but through innovation and integration. I must speak with my commanders, Zyla said when the tour concluded. Those who survived the initial Krovax attack will be gathering forces preparing for conventional warfare. They must understand what we face. Director Mason led them to a communication chamber. The technology here will allow you to reach your fleet without revealing our location. She explained the Krovax have likely compromised standard Zinthari communication channels. Zayla activated the system and soon found herself looking at Commander Vrax, one of her most trusted generals. His expression showed first shock, then relief at seeing his queen. Alive Majesty, he began. The palace, the capital city, they are lost. The Krovax struck simultaneously at 12 major Zinthari strongholds. We are regrouping at the ancient fortress on Zal Prime, Vrax. Zyla said, her voice commanding. I am on Earth. The commander's eyes widened. Our enemy? Not anymore. Zayla replied. I have seen what we face. The Krovax are an extinction-level threat. Our war with humans was a dangerous distraction. We must form an alliance, Commander. Vrax looked uncertain, but his loyalty to his queen overrode his prejudice. What would you have us do, Majesty? Bring the 7th Fleet to coordinates I will transmit separately, Zayla ordered. And Vrax, bring the Arkstones from the sacred vaults. We will need them. The commander bowed deeply, understanding the significance of her request. The Arkstones contained the most advanced Zinthari technology secrets guarded for centuries. When the communication ended, Director Mason looked at Zayla questioningly. Our ancestors were not always conquerors, she explained. There was a time when Zinthari were creators. The Arkstones contain knowledge from that era, including biomechanical integration systems, not unlike your own. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Zayla saw genuine surprise on the humans' faces. Perhaps the architects visited more worlds than we realized, Samantha said softly. Perhaps Zayla agreed. Or perhaps different species are not so different when facing extinction. The alliance that would save the galaxy was beginning to take shape. The Phoenix ship came alive around them, systems illuminating with brilliant blue light as the neural connection deepened. Zayla felt herself merging not only with the vessel but with Samantha, their consciousnesses intertwining in ways she had never imagined possible. Through Samantha's mind, Zayla could access human intuition, creativity, the ability to make connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. Through Zayla, Samantha gained access to Zinthari spatial awareness, multitasking capabilities, and instinctive understanding of energy patterns. Together they became something beyond either species. The Phoenix rose from Earth's atmosphere, its hull shimmering with iridescent light. The vessel moved with impossible grace, responding to their joint consciousness as if it were their own body. Rather than requiring commands, each intention manifested instantly, the ship becoming a perfect extension of their merged minds. We are approaching the defensive line. General Howard's voice reached them through the communication system, though. It felt distant compared to their expanded awareness. Acknowledged Zayla. And Samantha responded in perfect unison, their voices overlapping. The combined human and Zinthari fleet had formed a protective barrier around Earth. Multiple battleships held position, their weapons charged and ready. Commander Vrax coordinated the Zinthari vessels while General Howard directed the human ships. The two military leaders had quickly developed a mutual respect, their strategies complementing each other. The first Krovax ships entered weapons range. Their organic vessels pulsed with sickly green energy as they launched the initial attack. Wave after wave of smaller craft emerged from the hive ships, each containing dozens of Krovax warriors. Defensive Pattern Alpha 3. Commander Vrax ordered the Zinthari ships moved into formation, creating overlapping energy fields designed to absorb the initial assault. Human vessels darted between the larger Zinthari battleships their greater maneuverability, allowing them to target weak points in the Krovax formation. The integration of human and Zinthari weapon systems proved immediately effective. Energy beams calibrated to disrupt the Krovax organic. Technology cut through their smaller vessels, but the hive ships remained largely unaffected. Their massive hulls absorbed tremendous damage with minimal impact. The Krovax had evolved since their last cycle of consumption, adapting to counter the weapons used against them in previous encounters. The Phoenix ship accelerated through the defensive line Zayla and Samantha, guiding it directly toward the largest hive ship. Through their expanded consciousness, they could sense the Krovax awareness, a vast hive mind directing countless drones. They could feel the ancient hunger that drove the species an insatiable need to consume and grow. Were detecting unusual energy readings from the Phoenix director. Mason reported, "Something is happening." With the neural interface, inside the integration chamber, Zayla and Samantha had discovered something unexpected. The Phoenix was not merely responding to their commands, it was communicating with them. The ship itself possessed a form of consciousness, one that had remained dormant until activated by their combined neural patterns. It is architect technology, Zayla realized, the knowledge flowing between them. This vessel was designed to do more than fight. Samantha agreed through their link. The weapons array isn't incomplete. It's different together. They allowed the ship's consciousness to guide them, understanding flowing through the neural connection. The Phoenix was not primarily a weapon, but a key. The architects had left it as a means to access, something hidden within the Krovax themselves. As they approached the main hive ship, Krovax vessels swarmed around them, but the Phoenix moved through them, its defense systems automatically neutralizing threats without requiring conscious direction. This allowed Zayla and Samantha to focus on the new understanding unfolding within their merged consciousness. The Krovax were not natural predators. The architect's records suddenly made sense. They were a created species, designed as a form of galactic, pruning, consuming civilizations that failed to cooperate, that devoted themselves to conquest rather than creation. The cycle was a test, not merely destruction. "We need to reach the central node of the hive mind," Samantha communicated. "It's not in the ship," Zayla realized, seeing the pattern. They coordinate from a distance. Their merged consciousness extended further, reaching beyond the physical limitations of the Phoenix, scanning across space-time dimensions that neither human nor Zinthari senses could normally perceive. There in the spaces between they found it, a pulse of consciousness, ancient and vast, directing the Krovax swarm. The Phoenix responded to their discovery, its systems reconfiguring the weapons array that had seemed incomplete, transformed, revealing its true purpose. Not to destroy, but to communicate, to reach across the dimensional barrier and touch the controlling intelligence. Through their neural link, Zayla and Samantha directed the Phoenix to establish contact. The ship extended tendrils of energy that pierced the dimensional veil connecting with the Krovax. Overmind images flooded their merged consciousness. The history of the galaxy cycles of creation and destruction, species rising, developing technology, expanding, then either learning to cooperate or falling to conquest and eventually being pruned by the Krovax. The pattern had repeated for millions of years. The architects had been the last species to pass the test. They had transcended physical form, leaving behind tools and knowledge for those who might follow. But they could not interfere directly. The test had to be genuine. Each species had to find its own path. "You have broken the pattern," came a thought from the Krovax overmind. "No species has ever joined as you have done." "We offer a new way," Zayla and Samantha responded as one. "Neither conquest nor submission, but true symbiosis." The Krovax attacks suddenly ceased. The hive ships stopped their advance, hanging motionless in space. The combined human and Zinthari fleet held position, uncertain what had transpired. In the integration chamber, Zayla and Samantha remained connected to the Phoenix, their merged consciousness still in contact with the Krovax overmind. They could feel it considering, evaluating this unexpected development. "You would have us believe that predator and prey can become partners," the overmind questioned. "That the strong need not dominate the weak. Strength takes many forms," they answered. "Together we have discovered power, neither species could achieve alone. The Krovak's overmind probed deeper, examining their memories, their experiences, the journey that had brought former enemies to fight side by side. It witnessed Zayla's transformation from conqueror to ally, Samantha's evolution from soldier to bridge builder. We require proof. The overmind finally stated, a demonstration that your alliance is genuine, not merely a temporary measure against a common enemy. What proof would satisfy you? They asked. The architects left. A key, the overmind replied, one that can only be activated by truly unified species. It lies within the ruins on your moon, human, within what you call the Tycho crater. Find it, activate it, then we will know if your unity is worthy. The connection severed. Abruptly, the Krovak ships began to retreat, moving to positions just beyond Pluto's orbit. A standoff rather than a withdrawal in the Phoenix integration chamber. Zayla and Samantha slowly disconnected from the neural interface, their separate consciousnesses, reforming though the experience had permanently altered them both. They could still sense each other's thoughts, emotions in ways that transcended normal communication. The Tycho crater director Mason said when they reported what had transpired, we've known about those ruins for decades but never managed to access the central chamber. The entry mechanism has resisted all attempts because it wasn't designed for humans alone. Zayla explained. The text you discovered, the warnings about the Krovaks, they were only part of the message. The architects were guiding us toward cooperation, toward synthesis. A combined team was quickly assembled. Xentheory scientists and human archaeologists, both species bringing their unique perspectives to the ancient mystery. The Phoenix transported them to the lunar surface, landing beside the massive crater that had puzzled human researchers for generations. Beneath the regolith lay structures of impossible age, their architecture blending organic and mechanical elements in ways that reminded Zayla of the Phoenix ship itself. At the crater's center stood a sealed doorway, its surface covered in symbols that combined Xenthari mathematical notation with ancient human pictographs. It requires both species, Samantha said, studying the door. Not just physically, but mentally. The neural integration technology was adapted for use on the lunar surface. Small portable units allowing Xenthari and human pairs to temporarily merge consciousness while interfacing with the ancient technology. With each successful merger, another layer of security fell away. Another aspect of the ruins awakened at the center of it all. Zayla and Samantha led the effort, their earlier integration giving them advantages the other pairs lacked. Their connection deepened with each passing day, no longer requiring technology to maintain. They had become something new, something that existed in the space between their species. The final chamber revealed itself after 7 days of continuous work, a vast spherical room at the heart of the ruins, its walls covered in shifting patterns of light. At its center floated a crystalline structure, neither solid nor liquid, but something between states. 3 cycles passed as preparations for the alliance took shape. The Xenthari 7th Fleet arrived at the designated coordinates just beyond Pluto's orbit. Their massive warships dwarfed the human vessels that met them, creating an uneasy tableau. Against the backdrop of stars, Zayla stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel, defiant, watching as her commander's shuttle approached. Many of her people still viewed humans as inferior beings, worthy only of conquest. She knew changing generations of ingrained beliefs would not happen quickly. Commander Vrax was the first to board the Defiant. His towering purple form rigid with tension as he was escorted to the command center. His 4 eyes widened slightly at the sight of his queen standing, alongside humans as equals. Majesty. He bowed deeply, his voice carefully neutral. The arc stones have been brought as requested. The fleet awaits your command. Zayla nodded, gesturing to the humans beside her. Commander Vrax. Meet Director Mason, General Howard, and my wife, Ambassador Morgan. These humans have shared technology and strategies that will be essential in the coming war. The commander acknowledged each human with a stiff nod, though Zayla could see the confusion and disapproval in his posture. The concept of partnership rather than dominance was alien to most Xenthari warriors. We have prepared demonstration areas for the integration of our technologies, Director Mason said. Her voice was diplomatic but firm. We suggest beginning with weapon systems, then moving to biological enhancement protocols. Vrax looked to Zayla for confirmation. She nodded once. Trust is built through action. Commander, let us show you what humans have accomplished. Then you will understand why I have chosen this path. The next several hours were spent in various sections of the Defiant. Each demonstration further eroded Vrax's skepticism. The humans' enhancement suits, when paired with Zinthari energy modulators, created warriors with unprecedented capabilities. Their communication systems, when integrated with components from the Arkstones, could penetrate the Krovak's psychic interference. Most impressive was the neural integration chamber. Here, human operators connected directly with ship systems, controlling them with thought alone. The speed and precision surpassed even the best Zinthari pilots. These humans, General Howard explained, were specifically trained for integration. Their minds adapted to interface with alien technology. It's not something every human can do, but those who can become something more, something beyond merely human. Or Zinthari, Samantha added. Vrax watched as a young human female merged with the systems, her consciousness extending through the ship's sensors and weapons. Her physical body remained in the chamber, but her awareness expanded throughout the vessel. You wish our warriors to undergo this integration? Vrax asked, his voice betraying his unease. For those who are compatible? Yes, Director Mason confirmed. Our scientists believe Zinthari neural pathways may actually be more adaptable than human ones. Your natural telepathic abilities provide a foundation. We lack. Zayla stepped forward. I will be the first, she announced. Her declaration silenced the room. All eyes turned to the Queen Majesty. Vrax began his protest evident. This is untested. The risk of inaction is greater. Zayla cut him off. The Krovaks have already taken 17 Zinthari worlds according to your reports. They consume everything in their path. If we cannot stop them, there will be nothing left of our empire or any other civilization. Samantha moved to stand beside her wife. I will guide you through the process, she said softly. I have undergone integration training. Integration chamber was prepared. Zayla removing her royal garments and donning the specialized suit that would monitor her biological functions and provide the necessary neural connections. Samantha remained by her side, explaining each step. The Zinthari queen lay back in the chamber as sensors descended from above. The neural interface, a delicate crown of filaments, was placed upon her head. You will feel disoriented at first, Samantha explained, her voice calm and reassuring. Your consciousness will expand beyond your physical form. Focus on maintaining your sense of self even as you connect with the systems. Zayla closed her eyes as the process began. At first there was only darkness. Then slowly pinpricks of light appeared, growing brighter, connecting, forming pathways. Her awareness expanded outward, touching the ship systems. She could feel the energy coursing through the vessel, sense the weapons systems, the engines, the life support. Each breath of every crew member registered in her expanded consciousness. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, terrifying. Samantha, where are you? Zayla called out mentally. Feeling suddenly lost in the vastness, here came the response, and suddenly Zayla could sense her human wife's presence, another consciousness in the network, guiding, steadying. Follow my path together. They moved through the ship systems, Samantha showing Zayla how to maintain control, how to direct the flow of information rather than being swept away by it. The human had clearly done this many times, her mental presence confident and skilled. When Zayla finally opened her eyes, returning to her physical form. Hours had passed. Commander Vrax and the human leaders stood watching, concern and curiosity on their faces. It works, she said, her voice containing new authority. The integration is possible. I could sense everything. The ship became an extension of myself. Vrax stepped forward, his expression transformed by what he had witnessed. Your orders, Majesty. Begin integration. Protocols for compatible warriors, she commanded. We will need at least 100 integrated pilots for the first phase. Send the Arc Stones to the human facility on Mars. Their scientists will extract the necessary components. The commander bowed. Accepting her commands without question, what he had seen had convinced him more than any words could have. As preparations continued, the first reports of Krovax ships approaching the Sol system arrived sooner than expected. The enemy had tracked the Xanthari fleet despite their precautions. They know we are forming an alliance, Director Mason said during the emergency council meeting. They will attempt to stop us before we can fully integrate our forces. We are not ready, General Howard stated, bluntly. We need at least 2 more cycles to complete the neural integration of the Xanthari pilots. Zayla studied the tactical display showing the approaching Krovax vessels. They moved in their characteristic pattern, spreading outward, then constricting. Like a net designed to trap and consume, we cannot wait, she decided. We must engage them now with what forces we have ready. The Project Phoenix vessel, is it operational? Partially, Director. Mason replied. The drive systems and basic functions work, but the weapons array is incomplete. It will have to be enough, Zayla said. She turned to Samantha. You said the ship responds to neural patterns. Could it accept multiple pilots? A human and a Xanthari working in tandem? The neural architects believed it. Possible, Samantha confirmed, but it's never been attempted. The strain could be fatal. Then we will be the first. Again, Zayla said. My consciousness has already joined with yours in the integration chamber. We are compatible. General Howard looked between them, assessing the proposal. It's our best option, she finally agreed. If it works, it could provide the advantage we need. Preparations began immediately. The Project Phoenix vessel was moved from its underground facility to a launch position. Samantha and Zayla underwent accelerated joint integration training, their minds learning to work in concert rather than individually. The process was painful at times, their naturally different thought patterns creating dissonance that had to be carefully harmonized. But with each session, the connection grew stronger, more fluid, until finally they could move through systems as a single entity, their strengths complementing each other. The day of the Krovax arrival came too soon. 12 massive hive ships entered the Sol system, their black hulls absorbing light, their organic technology pulsing with malevolent energy. The combined human and Xanthari fleets moved to defensive positions, but all knew the true hope lay with the experimental Phoenix vessel and its unprecedented dual pilots. Zayla and Samantha entered the neural chamber at the heart of the Phoenix, their bodies secured in specialized cradles designed to support them during integration. As the neural filaments descended, connecting them to the ship and to each other, Zayla felt a moment of profound clarity. This was why the architects had brought humans and Xanthari together. Not because either species could defeat the Krovax alone, but because together they created something, something the ancient enemy could not anticipate. The integration began and the Phoenix awakened. Light enveloped them, transcending simple illumination to become pure information flowing directly into their consciousness. The chamber around them disappeared, replaced by a vast expanse of stars. The history of the galaxy unfolded before them, not as mere images but as experiences they lived through in accelerated time. They witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Some achieved great technological advancement only to destroy themselves through conflict. Others expanded across multiple star systems before falling to external threats or internal division. A clear pattern emerged. Species that embraced diversity, that found strength in cooperation, consistently survived, longer evolved, further reached greater heights than those focused on domination. Then came the architects, a species that had once been many separate evolutionary paths, that had chosen to merge their genetic, biological, and technological strengths. They transcended physical form, becoming beings of pure energy and consciousness. Before ascending to this higher state, they created safeguards, the Krovax to prune species that threatened galactic stability, the ruins and artifacts to guide worthy species toward cooperation, the Phoenix ship to serve as both test and tool. And now Zayla and Samantha stood at a crossroads. The crystalline key had activated, showing them not just the past but possible futures. In one timeline, humans and Zinthari remained separate allies against the Krovax, but ultimately distinct. Their cooperation would defeat the immediate threat, but eventually the old patterns would reassert. The Zinthari drive to conquer the human tendency toward factionalism would lead to new conflicts, new cycles of destruction. Another timeline. A true merger began. Humans and Zinthari sharing not just technology but genetics, culture, consciousness, creating something entirely new. A species that combined Zinthari strength and psionics with human adaptability and creativity. A civilization that could potentially follow the architect's path to ascension. The choice is yours. The architect's voice echoed. We cannot decide for you. We can only show the paths. Zayla and Samantha stood in the flow of information, their merged consciousness, processing implications beyond what either could have comprehended alone. They saw the challenges ahead, the resistance from traditionalists on both sides, the biological complications of genetic merger, the philosophical questions of identity and continuity, yet they also saw the potential, the extraordinary capabilities of combined human and Zinthari minds, the resilience of a unified culture drawing from the strengths of both evolutionary paths, the technologies that would become possible. When both species' perspectives were fully integrated, we choose synthesis, they answered as one. Not absorption, not conquest, but true merger. Equal partners creating something greater than either alone. The crystalline key pulsed with energy. The chamber around them shifted, revealing previously hidden technology integration pods designed to facilitate the process mechanisms to combine genetic material without losing essential traits, communication systems to share the discovery with both homeworlds. We have passed the test, Zayla realized. The first of many, Samantha added, their shared thoughts flowing smoothly between them. In orbit above the moon, the Krovax overmind sensed the activation of the architect key, the ancient programming that directed. Its species responded automatically. The hive ships began to withdraw not just from the Sol system, but from all conquered territories, their purpose fulfilled at least for this cycle on Earth, and across Zinthari space, the news spread. A new path had been discovered, one that offered not just survival but evolution. Resistance arose immediately. Many humans feared losing their identity. Many Zinthari rejected equality as weakness. But others, more than either Zayla or Samantha, had dared hope, embraced the possibility. The Phoenix Project expanded beyond a single ship, becoming the framework for the merger. The name took on new meaning. The birth of something new from the ashes of old conflicts, old limitations, old thinking. Zayla stood on the observation deck of the lunar facility, watching Earth rotate slowly below the blue planet, had become the center of the integration effort, its diverse biomes providing ideal testing grounds for the biological aspects of the merger. Samantha joined her, their hands intertwining naturally. Their neural connection had become permanent, a side effect of their extended integration in the Phoenix ship. They could function independently, but always remained aware of each other. A bridge between species. The first volunteer pairs have completed Phase 1 integration, Samantha said. Their genetic compatibility exceeds predictions. Zayla nodded. The Zinthari High Council has officially recognized the Phoenix Accord 8. More colony worlds have requested integration technology. The process was advancing faster than either had anticipated. Each successful integration providing data to improve the next. Each merged consciousness adding to the collective knowledge. Each hybrid child born of modified genetics demonstrating capabilities beyond either parent species. Yet challenges remained. The Krovax had withdrawn, but their message was clear. The test would come again in future cycles. Other threats existed in the galaxy, some Zinthari. Worlds rejected the new path, clinging to traditions of conquest. Several human factions feared loss of humanity, advocating isolation. We always knew it would not be easy, Samantha said, feeling Zayla's concern through their link. But it is necessary, Zayla replied. The alternative is stagnation, eventual extinction. They watched as a Phoenix-class vessel launched from the lunar surface, its iridescent hull gleaming in the sunlight. The ship carried integration teams to the outer colonies, spreading the technology, the philosophy, the potential for transformation. In the 5 years since their first contact, humans and Xinthari had accomplished more together than either had achieved in centuries of separate development. The integrated neural technology had revolutionized science, medicine, communication. Transportation systems now spanned the solar system and beyond. Defense capabilities had advanced to unprecedented levels. Environmental restoration projects flourished on both homeworlds. Most significantly, the merger had begun to produce the first true hybrids, children with genetic contributions from both species, born with neural structures designed for integration from birth. They represented the future Zayla and Samantha had glimpsed in the architect. Key, not human, not Xinthari, but something new. Something with the potential to eventually follow the architects into transcendence. The architects believed we could surpass them, Zayla said. That together we might achieve what neither species could. Alone, Samantha smiled. That faith wasn't misplaced. The hybridization program has already produced capabilities we barely understand. The third-generation hybrids show signs of natural neural linking without technology, or civilizations were stagnating. Before this, Zayla acknowledged both trapped in patterns that limited growth. The Xinthari conquering because tradition demanded it. Humans dividing into factions, competing when cooperation would have served better. The merger has freed us from those limitations. Communication alert sounded softly. Director Mason appeared on the nearby screen, her expression serious. The long-range sensors have detected something beyond the heliopause, she reported. Something large moving toward the solar system. Is it Krovax? Samantha asked. No, Mason replied. The signature is different. Completely unknown. The Phoenix neural network is processing the data now, but preliminary analysis suggests it's a vessel larger than anything we've encountered, nearly the size of Earth's moon. Zayla and Samantha exchanged glances, their shared consciousness already considering implications. Not a threat, Zayla said with certainty. I sense no hostility. A test, perhaps, Samantha suggested, or an opportunity. Mason nodded. We should prepare a greeting team. Your experience with first contact and integration makes you the obvious choice to lead it. They agreed, knowing that whatever approached represented the next step in their journey. The merger of humans and Xinthari had just begun. The Phoenix evolution was still in its early stages, but already they had broken free of ancient cycles, proven that cooperation could triumph over conquest, that synthesis could create something greater than the sum of its parts. As they prepared for this new encounter, Zayla reflected on how far she had come, from a conquering queen certain of her superiority, to half of something far greater than she had ever imagined. Her people were transforming, abandoning millennia of tradition for any uncertain but promising future. The human she had once considered merely a political necessity had become essential to her existence. Their merged consciousness represented everything the Phoenix Project stood for. The potential, when different perspectives, strengths, weaknesses combined into something new. Whatever comes next, we face it together, Samantha said, her thoughts flowing naturally into Zayla's mind. Together, Zayla agreed. As one.